Ayo, ayo, where the peoples is at? Come on, let's go, people. Let's try to get a couple people in here tonight. Got to get right back in to do some recording. Lord of mercy, Lord of mercy. What a new year already it is for some people. It's just another day for other people, and for other people, it's not even the new year. But whatever, whatever. January 2nd, 2023, in the United States, Eastern Standard Time. Yo, Peanut Green, D'Angela. Hello, everybody. Thank you for pressing that like button, coming on in. We want to start a whole new flow for the new year. You come in, check that like button. That's going to be a whole new 2023 way to go about things. You come on in, go ahead and press that like button. Why not? And there's already a couple people who still haven't done that. Go ahead and press that like button. Actually, nah, 2023, we're not even going to be asking people to turn on the light. We're not even going to go there. We're not going to go there, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Marwan. As you all know, the verdict is already in. Some of you all didn't even know, or maybe you did, that the Tory Lanez verdict is already in. So I don't know what y'all talking about, who lying, who telling the truth. The verdict is already in. And what's the verdict, yo? That the nigga was guilty on all counts, right? Okay. We've also seen some of the drama between independent reporters, independent bloggers, independent outlets that were there in court watching every minute of it. Shout out to Milagro Yams. Shout out to Milagro Yams. I wasn't focused on her, but she seemed to be prominent out here for the people in the streets as she reported her business during the trial, during her lunch break. She was there for the entire 2 weeks. Shout out to Milagro Grams. But the channel I was sort of looking at the most was Street TV. Shout out to Street TV. Alonzo, Wagwan, this is your boy Marwan. Alonzo did very thorough work. Alonzo didn't seem necessarily biased at all. Look, Alonzo seemed to be very familiar with how the court works. Shout out to Alonzo. Without Alonzo, a lot of people wouldn't have gotten the content that they wanted. Shout out to Alonzo. Street TV. Purpose of this here video, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm trying to figure out, wow, it's amazing because you have a situation where Megan lied, Megan the Stallion lied, and her friend, who's no longer a friend, who was the state's witness, Kelsey Harris, Kelsey, whatever her last name was, Kelsey lied. This video is just going to go over those lies. And I think those lies are very, very important and crucial to this story. Those lies. Okay? We've seen some other exhibits come out recently, yo. We've heard the phone call from Tory Lanez from jail, calling Kelsey, trying to arrange bail. You also heard the hour and something testimony by Kelsey given at the prosecutor's office in September of 2022. Just a couple months ago, yo. This is the thing. Just a couple months ago, she just testified with prosecutors after basically running away for 2 years. The bodyguard, whoever was driving, his name is Quan and Kelsey, they couldn't be found. I don't know how much the prosecution was looking for Quan since 2020 of July, which is when this happened. But Quan and Kelsey, they weren't trying to get involved at all. Kelsey, as opposed to Quan, Kelsey was the one who got called in by court. Kelsey was the one who was harassed by prosecution's office to come in. Kelsey's the one who waited a couple years to testify, to give her statement. She didn't want to be involved in it. If your friend is shot, if your friend, your best friend is shot, ladies, are you going to be the one running away? Or are you going to step forward? And a lot of stuff is weird that happened. Let's get into it, though. First and foremost, you have the September interview of Kelsey. And many people want to believe the September interview with Kelsey came after Kelsey didn't want nothing to do with the case, y'all. And that's typical of someone who's either guilty. I ain't trying to get involved. I ain't. Hey, you. Are you gonna make me come in? I ain't getting involved. It's either because you're guilty, or because you're really trying to protect someone or someone else, right? One thing that's interesting, if you're gonna look at this case in the future, y'all, when you're gonna look at this case in the future, there's two things you're gonna be looking at. There's two things that I just looked at. I looked at the hour and something interview Kelsey in the prosecutor's office in this past September, couple months ago. I listened to all of that. Shout out to Street TV. When Kelsey was interviewed by prosecutors in September, she was mentioning, she was pretty much going to go ahead and sell TORY up the river. She mentioned the middle of the console where TORY was grabbing at the gun. She mentioned that he was the one who did it. She didn't want anything to do with the case. She came into that interview ready to send TORY up the river, is my belief. She came into that interview in September ready to send TORY up the river. But you listen to that, and you also got to listen to the testimony of Kelsey, where she said everything, most of what she said in September was false. And she got immunity for it. So which testimony are you going to think is going to be the most truthful? Is it Kelsey in September, or Kelsey on the stand just recently after being given use immunity, which means you can pretty much say, you know what I mean? She asked to be able to, she was out here pleading the fifth. Kelsey said on the stand she wants immunity. She wants to plead the fifth because she doesn't want to incriminate herself. This is the part that's bugging me out. In the September interview, Kelsey said nothing about fighting with Megan Thee Stallion. In the September interview with prosecutors, Kelsey said nothing about fighting Megan Thee Stallion. Kelsey said it was TORY who yanked her head up, bruised her leg. In the testimony and trial, what did Kelsey say? Given immunity from everything, immunity from whatever she said. She said that there was a bump. They asked her for the first time, did you fight Kelsey? Did you fight Megan? And Kelsey said there was alcohol. That was her first answer. There was alcohol. There was alcohol. When they asked Kelsey, after she's given immunity, after she still tried to plead the fifth, they asked you, Kelsey, did you get into a fight with Megan? And Kelsey said there was alcohol. She didn't say there was alcohol in September. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the issue right here. It's the crazy, I had to write a couple of notes, okay? Because there was this interview in September. Kelsey kept saying that she was sort of scared, when TORY was trying to meet up with her after the incident. She was scared. While the incident was happening in September, Kelsey said, you know, I'm blown, man. I'm so blown away. In September, they asked her, "Oh wait, so Tory was fighting you at some point? It wasn't just a shooting at Megan. Tory was fighting you. What was going on there?" And she was so vague about it. She was like, "Oh, he was physical. He was just aggressive. I don't know. I was scared." She was scared that night. She was more distraught that night than Megan was. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, she's doesn't recall, right? Ladies and gentlemen, another thing that happened, y'all, is after the incident, Rock Nation appears, right? The team of Megan appears, and they tell Kelsey that Megan's gonna be down for a year. You're gonna have to get out of town. So they got Kelsey out of town. Megan's team after the incident. Megan paid a whole year for her to stay somewhere in Houston. Oh my goodness, y'all. Megan and Kelsey lied their behinds off, y'all. Y'all need to understand that. Very critical lies. On the stand, Megan said she got out of the car and went straight forward, started walking. And Megan said she heard, "Dance, bitch, dance, bitch." Nobody else heard dance, bitch. With immunity, Kelsey says that Megan got out of the car and approached the back where she was sitting and that there was a bump. Later on, the eyewitness says that the two girls started fighting, and Megan didn't say that in court. Kelsey didn't say that in September interview with prosecutors. So there's like two major instances where both Megan and Kelsey lie. Kelsey admitted to lying in this when she was on the stand. She admitted to lying about a lot of things in September. She doesn't remember anymore what she said in September, which was that Tory Lanez offered her $1 million. She says she now doesn't remember any of that. She said much of what she said in September was false, was a lie. The fact that she saw Tory reach for the gun, that was a lie. And you might be asking yourself, well, would Kelsey lie like that? Of course. Kelsey was running away from the prosecution for 2 years. She wasn't trying to be under any kind of scrutiny. She wasn't trying to be asked any questions until she was told by the court, "You gotta come in." She started being harassed by the prosecutors. "You gotta come in." And it wasn't to, and once she got her immunity, she was not trying to attach Tory to the shooting. Hey, listen, the only people I think are critical are the people in that car. Kylie would have just, I don't know, repeated the same thing as EJ or whatever that other dude with the flamboyant hair and the loud pink suit, the hairdresser, the stylist, whatever that dude was. I don't think Kylie would have said anything different from him. But that dude, Quan, who was driving the car, how did he get away with all of this? He showed up on the last day. Like, what the fuck? So when we're talking about an appeal, ladies and gentlemen, if Tory Lanez is going to try to get an appeal, it's important that we know, because people are thinking in their head, oh, he should be able to get an appeal because then he could testify, or then he could get that Quan person to testify on the appeal. No, no. when Tory Lanez tries to go get this appeal, or when Tory Lanez makes an appeal to the more superior court, he's not going to have the opportunity to testify then. He's not going to be able to give Quan an opportunity to testify on the appeal. The only purpose for the appeal is to say to this next superior court, like, yo, the things that happened in that trial court, there were some errors. The judge made some errors, or my attorney was horrible, or this type of evidence, XYZ. He's not going to be able to start telling his story. When you go for an appeal, this is not an opportunity to try the case all over again. When you go for the appeal, you're asking for another trial. You're saying because of these procedural errors, because of what the judge said at this point, because of the evidence that the judge allowed in when the judge shouldn't have allowed in, the whole case would have been different, Your Honor. The whole case would have been different, Your Honor. So a lot of times, defendants who are in jail, had already been convicted, they're able to get out of jail and maybe even get a whole new trial if they can prove, first, that certain procedures were done wrong in that other trial, y'all. So that's why it's going to be tough. So if he makes an appeal and the appeal is granted, and if he wins the appeal, then he may be able to have a whole new trial. But we don't know if that's going to go down. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are looking at these audio clips of Kelsey, the audio clip of TORY apologizing. When we talk about TORY apologizing, it's important to know when was the first apology. Tory Lanez, according to one of these individuals, Kelsey, Tory Lanez was already apologizing after the incident, before the cops came. Tory was already apologizing. Then afterwards, Tory was apologizing again. Tory sounded like he was trying to see what she wanted to do. Tory was volunteering and saying, hey, do you need one of my lawyers? Tory was asking Kelsey, can he get her a lawyer? Why would he be asking Kelsey, does she need a lawyer? I want to repeat again, y'all. In that September meeting that Kelsey had with prosecutors that sounded so convincing, she never brought up anything about a fight with Megan. Why would someone who was at the scene of a crime, who was also detained along with Tory Lanez, why would someone leave that part out? In my mind, ladies and gentlemen, the fight between Megan and Kelsey are directly linked to that gun. You know what I mean? Because Megan never said nothing about the fight at all. Nothing about the fight at all. Kelsey never mentioned anything about the fight when she was first talking to prosecutors in September 2022, 2 years afterwards. So I'm thinking in September, she may have already had it in her mind to sell Tory Lanez up the river and to back her friend, even though her friend Megan didn't back her. There was an incident between Megan and Kelsey because, again, after the incident, Rock Nation contacted Kelsey and said, look, Megan's going to be down. Rock Nation and her team was acting real funny. They weren't allowing Kelsey to even contact Megan. That sounds something along the lines of maybe Megan told her team that she don't know who shot her. It could be her, it could be her. which is why Megan never, I don't know, spoke for Kelsey in that Instagram post. Megan made an Instagram post that said, hey, I just want to clear up some things. I was shot, and I'm just trying to handle my business. But just the day before, Kelsey had asked Megan to clear her name too. Kelsey wanted Megan to go up on Instagram and to say, my friend Kelsey didn't do it. But Megan never did that. Megan didn't protect Kelsey in that moment. Megan's team was acting funny, real shady. They weren't allowing her to see her, nothing. They were sending her away, treating Kelsey funny. Megan's team was not treating Kelsey on the same, they have different investments, obviously. She's just a friend of Megan. Megan is their prize, and she's got the narrative to push. I don't know. I don't know if TORY actually is the one who is guilty. But I'll tell you what, if TORY is apologizing, if he's being apologetic to these women, it could also be this dude feels funny, is weird as hell, being the reason why their friendship is over. He feels jacked up, messed up as hell, being the reason why they may have fought that night. He may have felt real jacked up, being so drunk, yeah, cursing at him, calling them bitches, but also which may have led to Kelsey possibly shooting at Megan. And once he saw her lick off a couple shots, he jumped up real quick, may have grabbed the gun. We don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I am the one that says also there was a lot of doubt in that case, y'all. Megan was lying. Kelsey was bold-faced lying. And I'm not willing to say that they both were lying to protect TORY. No, I'm not willing to say that. Why? Because they both, at critical points, lied about a fight. They lied about a fight. And in this testimony, it came out more and more that Kelsey felt betrayed. Kelsey wasn't telling the prosecutor this in September, but Kelsey said she felt betrayed. And once you bring that word out, betrayal, that means, acting out of character is going to be part of that whole situation. TORY's lawyer was trying to press Kelsey. Didn't you fight Megan? There was alcohol. Yeah, I know there was alcohol, Kelsey. What we're asking you is, did you fight Megan? There was alcohol. She kept repeating that on the stand. There was alcohol. Hiding something very critical. And this is also part of the reason why, yeah, maybe TORY should have stepped up. Because he's got two people in the car, the only other two people in the car who are testifying. And he's got both of them lying on the stand and to the prosecutor. The defense believes that's already enough. You don't need eyewitness testimony yet. The defense believes that's enough of reasonable doubt right there. Because you got two people in the car who lied about something very critical, which is what? The fight that they were having. The story was supposed to be that TORY was supposed to be feeling butthurt about what Megan Thee Stallion had said about his career. We're supposed to believe, right, Napoleon Complex, the guy who beat up August Alsina, the way he treats men, he may have treated these women the same way. But these women lied about something very crucial. Why wouldn't they lie about something else? Megan didn't know who was shooting at her. Pop, pop, pop. Those first few bullets could have been bullets from Kelsey. TORY could have jumped over real quick and tried to grab her hand and then pop, 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 right? Because it goes pop, 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 grab her hand, pop, pop. It could have happened like that. because they both lied about the fight. Kelsey thought that her interview in September was going to be the last time she was going to be dealing with this forever. The last time. What's up, y'all? Good evening. Kelsey thought this was going to be the last time she was ever going to have to deal with this. Get this lying out of the way. So she never mentions the fight. It must have been a big fight, the way that eyewitness is describing it. She didn't say nothing about the fight to the prosecutors. Megan said nothing about the fight on the stand. She was lying. Now, are these lies material to the case? Are these lies material? They must be. They got to be material. You tend to lie about material facts of the matter, right? Especially if you're guilty, especially if you're not trying to send somebody up the river, right? It sounds like Kelsey, exactly right. If you listen to that eyewitness who was acting kind of funny, also, but the eyewitness opens our eyes and lets us know, oh, it was a girl that shot first? Really? Wow. And he was sort of a believable eyewitness, not really connected to anybody. And he was able to say, hey, there was women fighting. He was able to corroborate the testimony of Kelsey, but went further and saying they were fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't like when a case goes down like this, where a victim and a key witness were both lying about something very serious. Again, Kelsey was lying her butt off. In the trial that we just witnessed, Kelsey admitted straight up that she was lying in September. Most of everything she was saying, she was lying about it. And if you go back and listen to it, some of it was sounding like a lie. The reason why you can trust that she was lying back then is because she got immunity to admit and express openly that she was lying back then. She again restated that she was lying about TORY reaching for a gun. She was lying about a lot of stuff. And you might be asking yourself, well, damn, how could she be lying about all of that? She had a lot of time in between the incident and that interview in September, a lot of time to develop her lies. A lot of time to develop her lies. A lot of time, right, to really take a look and see how Megan was operating. She saw that Megan did not have her back, and she reacted. She doesn't have a PR team. She reacted and made her own IG post that says, I just want to clear something up. My name is Kelsey. Yes, I was present that night, but I did not have the gun. I did not have the gun. And then there was that text that Kelsey sent to TORY's manager or something, where Kelsey texted, TORY shot Meg. I don't know. Why would, would somebody text something like that and be lying? Probably to cover your own behind. I don't know. But it's just more gray area, more doubt. Who is lying? And it would have been great in this instant, like we said, if TORY had taken the stand. Sure, prosecution said, we're going to be looking at all your lyrics, TORY, if you take the stand. The prosecution said, we're going to be going into all of your violence with August Alsina and anybody else if you take the stand. So TORY knew he was going to be dealing with a lot of drama, a lot of character questions, a lot of prior acts of violence type of questions. And he didn't take the stand because he figured the jury would notice that the star prosecution witness was totally, all she had to say was TORY did it. But she did the exact opposite. She flipped her script completely. She went against her own words to the prosecutor just a couple months ago. People are lying, ladies and gentlemen. And when you have people who both claim to be victims, and one of them says, "Oops, I lied," that's reasonable doubt right there, man. The reasonable doubt is very clear to me. I'm not here ready to go march and say free Tory. I'm just saying that the reasonable doubt is clear to me. You know what I mean? The lying of Megan the Stallion, the lying of Kelsey, and Kelsey taking that, getting immunity. So she had to tell everybody she's a straight up liar in September. And maybe she inadvertently told people that she's still a liar, but she's less of a liar in court, because if she were to lie in court, perjure herself, she could still be prosecuted. She didn't have full immunity. She had use immunity, just for this use. She could still be prosecuted for some other situation that could be proven in other ways. So if there was any testimony to believe by Kelsey, it's the testimony Kelsey gave in court after she had use immunity. And it was at that point that they asked her, "You spoke with the prosecutors in September to incriminate Tory, right? You spoke to," they were asking her, "Didn't you speak with prosecutors in September to incriminate Tory?" And she's like, "I don't know." What the fuck? And this is the question that really blew my mind. That brought up a whole lot of reasonable doubt in my mind when they were on the stand, and they asked Kelsey this question. You know, they asked Kelsey, "Did Megan shoot herself?" Like, because they're sitting here dealing with Kelsey, and Kelsey is saying she doesn't know who shot her. So the defense is like, "Well, wait a minute. Wait, so did Megan shoot herself?" And guess what Kelsey's answer was? Kelsey's answer was, "I don't know." Kelsey's on the stand. Defense attorney asks her, "Did Megan shoot herself?" And that woman said, "I don't know." She said, "I don't know." They asked her, didn't you go speak with prosecutors in September to incriminate Tory?" Because when you listen to that audio, you hear Kelsey saying, "Yeah, he threatened to shoot me already before any of this happened. He was reaching for the console, but he didn't pull nothing out." She was like, "I was wondering how he got out the car. I was one," but she never in September, she never once said she got into a fight, and it sounds like a big fight that lasted a minute. If you listen to the eyewitness, they were going back and forth. There was a hell of a lot of kicking. But in September, she definitely was saying that it was Tory trying to, you know what I'm saying, rough her up. That it was Tory who was responsible for all of her bruises. She said that in September when she realized that the gunshot residue had shown that she was on it. She had realized that the defense was going to start pointing at her as the shooter, and the court demanded that she come in to speak. This is a strange case, y'all. Like I'm saying, for Tory, he's going to have to prove that some sort of evidence, insufficient evidence. He can argue there wasn't enough evidence. He can argue that, you know, that his own lawyer was horrible. He could argue that the judge made a mistake in telling the jury this. He could argue that the judge made a mistake in allowing certain other evidence in, and if it weren't for that evidence in, we would have got a different result. So his attorneys right now are going through all of their own objections. His attorneys right now are going through all of the everything in that case, looking through the transcripts, looking for any procedure that went wrong, looking for any error in judgment, anything like that, so that he can try to gain an appeal, to reverse the verdict or something. Megan and Kelsey lied. Megan lied several times on that stand. Kelsey lied almost all the time in that September interview. Now, Tory calls from jail saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Listen, if I were involved in a shooting, I really wouldn't be saying nothing on the jail phone because you know that's being recorded. But if I was on a phone that wasn't recorded, I would probably be like, man, I don't believe, a gun got pulled out and we shot X, or I shot, like the words, I shot her, or she got shot, or we shot. You want to hear that. If somebody's apologizing for shooting, you want to hear those exact words. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I reached for that gun. But of course, he wouldn't go that far on a recorded phone call. So he's got a lot to apologize for, right? We said he's got a lot. People from Canada are always sort of apologizing for shit. It's like part of their culture. Just apologize, even if it's not your fault. But he's apologizing, obviously, for, breaking their friendship up. He's apologizing for all the drama that's going to come to those two women. He seems ready, willing, and able to handle the drama. And it did sound like he was sort of trying to get Kelsey or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it is. All I'm just saying is this, y'all. Megan and Kelsey lied their behinds off. And it wasn't a lie necessarily to protect Tory Lanez. It was a lie that Kelsey admitted it was to protect her from investigation prosecution. Tory, I mean, come on. She straight up said in court, I'm not trying to testify unless I know I'm protected. Usually when people are talking that kind of talk, there's something guilty about them. You can't plead the fifth because you don't want to tell on Tory. You don't plead. I want to plead the fifth. Cause you know what I'm saying. I don't want to say that Tory killed. No, you can't plead the fifth because you were trying to protect somebody. You plead the fifth. You get immunity from prosecution because of your guilt. Or right? That was the biggest moment of the trial. The prosecution, that was the prosecution's star witness. The prosecution was expecting her to say, Tory shot Meg. I mean, didn't she say that in September? Back in September when she thought she'd never have to deal with that case again? That means she's got to come up with all types of stories, She's got to, be able to explain what happened here. In that September meeting, the prosecutors asked her, okay, so Tory got out the car, he was approaching you and Meg, and then Kelsey said she stood up in between Tory and Megan as Tory came around the car. And she said that's when he started attacking her, pulling her by her hair, and all this nonsense. I don't know what happened, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know what happened. You got the eyewitness that was up there that did say a woman shot first. But man, did he sound very shady and weird as well. They would ask him, so the woman shot first, right? And then this eyewitness would say, yeah, they all were fighting. No, that's not the question, nigga. It wasn't the question. So it's like Kelsey and that eyewitness, they don't know how to answer direct questions. Kelsey was asked directly, did you fight Megan? She said there was alcohol. This eyewitness was asked several fucking times. Did the girl shoot first? They were all fighting. All this to say there was enough reasonable doubt for me because there was so much lying by Kelsey, lying by Megan, and their lies weren't to benefit TORY at all. Their lies were to sort of protect each other, in a sense. And I don't know what's going to go down. Yeah, TORY could end up in jail for several years, for a long time. I don't know. So hopefully his lawyers do a much better job than what they feel they did at the lower court. And we'll see what happens, y'all. I mean, we'll see what happens. Megan and Kelsey lied their behinds off. Kelsey was the only one that sought legal immunity because that was her way of saying, I know I lied. I am not trying to lie again, because it's one thing to lie in September to prosecutors. It's a whole other thing to lie again here on the stand in court, under oath, and all of that good stuff. She did not want to do that all the way again, so she got immunity before she testified. She still tried to plead the fifth after getting immunity, which was dumb. But that should have told the jury right there, yo, she was in the car with TORY. She was detained with TORY. She's saying she was lying about September interview. What the hell? What the? And Megan was lying as well. Megan lied about so much in that trial. She lied about the Kylie Jenner situation, and she lied about, she didn't even admit to any kind of a bump or a fight with Kelsey. No. She said, dance, bitch, right? Those were Megan's words. Dance, bitch. So this is just my 2 cents. I want to thank y'all for coming through, checking this video out. Because we got to ask ourselves, who's lying here? Who's lying? And are these lies material to the motive of who may have been involved in shooting? Who else may have been involved in shooting? So maybe the jury felt like, all right, we can convict him, but that doesn't mean we think he's the only one guilty. We do believe he shot her. That don't mean that we don't believe he's the only one. He just happens to be the only one on the stand, the only defendant for this crime today. So I want to thank y'all. Peanut, yeah. Tiana B. Sunfruit, yes. So I totally understand people who would like to maintain that Tory Lanez is actually not guilty. We're not going to call him innocent, but we're going to say that there was enough reasonable doubt for that whole thing to not even, for the conviction to be turned over. That there was enough doubt, that there was not enough evidence proving beyond a reasonable doubt. Right? It's supposed to be beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable. So you may have a reasonable doubt, but you want his guilt. You want his guilt to be so strong, and it just wasn't. You can't have a dude guilty and you be 100% positive about it when both of the victims were lying so hard about their fight that very night. You know what I mean? They even asked Kelsey, yo, Kelsey, was this whole thing over Tory's record history and his career? And she said, no. This whole argument, it was about me and Megan. It was about Tory sort of exposing Megan to me as, yet again, my backstabber. She felt betrayed, like really betrayed this time. And she may have mollywopped. She may have beaten up Megan. I don't know. Megan may have kicked her a few times. But did Tory intentionally, because that was Megan's whole thing, that she believes this was an intentional shooting. But we know he wasn't charged with murder. We know he wasn't charged, I'm sorry, with attempted murder. We know he wasn't charged with that. But anyway, something for you all to think about. Listen again to the September testimony of Kelsey, if you will. Also listen to the official testimony in court of Kelsey after she got herself that immunity. That's when everything started to come out. The nature of their fight, the reason why they went back to Kylie Jenner's house, because Tory wasn't trying to get in the car with those two women. Those two women that he was fucking. He wasn't trying to get into the car. He was like, y'all go without me. There's so many people that are saying now that Tory would have been safer staying with a white girl than he was getting in and dealing with the sisters that he was fucking. It's amazing, but Megan wasn't truthful about a lot of different things as was going on there. And that's the scary part. When you've got both of the so-called victims lying their behinds off. Yeah, they may have been doing those things too. They may have been sleeping with each other, Megan and Kelsey. I mean, Megan was on some interview where, yeah, she entertained the thought that, hey, she may not be lesbian, but if she likes what she likes, she likes what she likes. So I don't know how many times Megan has betrayed Kelsey, but usually when that goes down, there's one person in that relationship that feels like the other one needs the other one more. And so maybe in Megan's head, Kelsey needs Megan more than Megan needs Kelsey. And some people like to abuse that relationship dynamics by sleeping with your man. And then what you're going to do? You're going to leave this relationship, and I'm blessing you. I'm the popular one. I'm hooking you up. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have ever met any of these people. So if anything, you should be letting me fuck your man as a kind of commission or as a payback for me setting y'all up in the first place. I don't know what Megan Thee Stallion was thinking, but it is clear, without a doubt, that Megan lied on the stand, that Kelsey lied at the prosecutors and openly admitted she's a liar, and that she was not trying to incriminate Tory, that she's now trying to protect herself from incrimination, self-incrimination. And the jury did not think that that was reasonable doubt alone right there. I can't help you. It's the same with the DNA. They're saying that, on the gun, his DNA came up inconclusive. That means it still could have been his DNA. But neither of the women was tested for their DNA on the gun. Megan wasn't tested. And they asked Kelsey, did Megan shoot herself? Kelsey says, I don't know. They never tested Megan's hand for the gun. They never tested Kelsey's hand for the gun. There's a lot of gray area, a lot of things going on. Whether or not he's going to get the appeal is going to be interesting to see. If a place like, California, Me Too type of a state, very liberals, protect me, believe her type of a state, the same courtroom they had convicted Epstein or Weinstein, which is the Hollywood producer who was charged with, fucking and sexually assaulting some actresses. He was in the same courtroom being judged, same courtroom as Tory Lanez. Long story short, Megan and Kelsey lied their behinds off. Rock Nation wasn't really trying to, protect Kelsey. Megan wasn't trying to protect Kelsey in this whole situation. Megan was saying Kelsey took some hush money. Megan was saying that Kelsey took hush money. She was not protecting Megan, her friend. So there's a lot of people that weren't protected. There's more than one black woman that wasn't protected, and they lied about something very material. And I would say that a fight between Megan and Kelsey is very crucial. Why? Because it gives you another motive, another person who could have done the shooting, who had a motive to do the shooting. We're not saying she did it. We're just throwing enough doubt in your mind, along with the evidence, which would lead you to say, hey, this dude is not guilty of this shit because you got all this other possible DNA on the gun. You got all this other possible scenario that went down that night that those two women were lying about. I don't know how the dude was convicted. A lot of people don't know how he was convicted, but a lot of people do know how he was. Because for the same reason I would say there's reasonable doubt, they would say there is none. They would say, oh, it's possible that his fingerprints was on the gun. It's possible. Okay, well, yeah, that's him. He's the only one on the defendant side. It's usually when you don't have nobody named as a possible defendant that you have all these DNA questions. Let me know what you all think in the comments, in the sections below. Thank y'all for coming through here today. I got to get back. I got to record a couple things here, make a couple phone calls. Let me know what y'all think now that we really made it official and plain. Megan Thee Stallion and Kelsey were lying their behinds off on day one. Lying, lying, lying. And we got one person admitting that she's lying. Admitting under oath that she lied just a couple months earlier. Lied about a lot. Lied about everything. Lying as if she was trying to send TORY up the river, but at the last minute changed her mind and wanted some immunity to protect her. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you also believe that Kelsey and Megan lied? And do you think that was a material lie enough to render this dude not guilty? Because these motherfuckers is lying when they didn't have to lie. They're lying about material, pertinent information that happened in that car, right outside the car. But because of that, maybe TORY should have testified. This is your boy Marwan. Thank you for coming through this first video, 2023. 20 Jordan, right? 20 Jordan, 2023. And I'll talk to y'all later. Who lied? Who is lying? And who's been telling the truth since the beginning? Who's been lying since the beginning? Who's been telling the truth since the beginning? We can't say that TORY bribed or actually gave money to anyone. We can't go that far. We can't make those leaps. But I just wanted to come by and say what's up. Peace out to y'all. This is not about man, hater, misogyny, nothing. This is not about none of that nonsense, gender division, gender issues, gender war, black man, black woman. Nope, 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 nope. We see that there were a couple black women that weren't protected. And we see that there was a couple black women that were actually trying to protect themselves, either by getting immunity or by lying. And it looks like Megan Thee Stallion and her friend, former friend Kelsey Harris, did a hell of a lot of lying around that night. A hell of a lot of lying. Material lies. Protecting another potential shooter. This is your boy Marwan. Thank y'all for coming through. Have a good evening. One love, y'all. You're lucky. You're lucky just to have just one love. Thank you. Megan and Kelsey lied their behinds off. Megan and Kelsey lied. And it was not to protect Tory Lanez. It was to protect their own behinds. Their own behinds. Megan didn't see who was shooting her. Pop, pop. Could have been Kelsey. Pop, pop, pop. Tory jumps over, grabs her hand, pop, pop. Who knows? And this was right at that moment where Tory was like, hey, get these broads out of my car. Get them out of my car. And then maybe it was Tory Lanez that started doing the shooting just at that point, which is what the jury ended up believing, that Tory did the shooting. Right there, pow, pow, pow. He was butthurt about what Megan, a woman that he's known as foul, he's going to be worried about what she say about his career when he's got direct experience knowing that she's a foul friend because, you know, she went right behind Kelsey's back, sucking dick. And he wanted to expose that because he felt like Kelsey was real people. Kelsey was good people, he said. That's why he wanted to expose it. She's gonna come right back to Kylie's house, start an argument with Tory, and then Kylie kicks him out. You niggers gotta get the fuck out of here. And then that's when it's all revealed. It's all revealed, and Kelsey gets another betrayal told to her by Tory. And you can imagine how a woman, right? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Now, if it's your own best friend doing the scorning, damn. Ain't no telling what that sister would do. This is your boy Marwan, coming at you one more again, my friend. Peace out.